Good afternoon. I'm Commander Hank Allen. I'm PXO PCO USS Bulkley, and my interview today is on a post-deployment interview with a local media. So first and foremost, I would like to take the opportunity to thank our friends, family, and loved ones for their dedicated and continued support throughout our 9-month deployment. We recognize the sacrifices that our military family members have to make on a day-to-day basis, and we thank them for their courage and dedication. We knew going into this deployment that it was going to be 9 months. We knew it was going to be long. So we put a lot of effort into preparing our crew and our family members to ensure that they would be able to withstand that long separation as well as possible. So we put a lot of effort into that. We talked to our Fleet Family Service Center and worked with our family readiness group and our ombudsman to make sure that they had the tools and resources that they would need to be able to provide our crew's families with all the support that they would need. We knew that we had to do this. We knew that it was imperative that for us to be able to be successful on deployment, in order to fulfill our primary responsibilities as a Navy warship of warfighting first, operate forward, and be ready, that we had to have the home front set up first. So it was very important that we do so. So how did we do on deployment? How did we fare? We sailed over 50,000 nautical miles during our deployment. We conducted a wide variety of maritime operations across the globe. In the Mediterranean, we conducted a bilateral exercise with the Italian Navy, furthering our ongoing efforts to work with our international partners and provide those relationships that are necessary for global security. Also in the Mediterranean, we worked with our NATO allies. We performed Operation Active Endeavor. This operation was principal for making sure that we patrolled the Mediterranean and monitored the shipping there in order to help deter and protect against piracy. Off the Horn of Africa, we conducted counter-piracy operations with our coalition partners in an effort to protect the maritime freedom that's the basis for our global prosperity. In the Gulf of Oman, Indian Ocean, and Arabian Gulf, we conducted maritime security operations and other operations that are in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. And we had a lot of individual successes during our deployment. We had 88 of our sailors advance to the next higher pay grade. We had 80 of our enlisted sailors that reached the milestone of enlisted surface warfare specialist. 8 of our first-class petty officers advanced to chief petty officer. And 7 of our junior officers reached their major milestone of qualifying surface warfare officer. So they did a great job. The crew's performance was outstanding. And we couldn't have done it without that support from back home. So we thank our family members for that support. So with that, I would take any questions that you might have. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, Catherine Devine from the Virginia Pilot. I know you talked about one of the missions that you did down in the Horn of Africa was counter-piracy. It's not something that we've heard a lot about either in national or international news reporting as a recent thing compared to several years ago when piracy seemed like it was a very at the forefront of all of the news stories about the Navy. Could you tell us why you think that is?
Well, I believe a lot of the efforts that we've taken as a coalition there has been very valuable in helping to provide some stability in that area of the world. Also understand that there's a lot of armed security that maritime ships are allowed to use now that is helping with that. But definitely with the presence of our coalition forces down there have helped to reduce that piracy activity.
And sir, just to follow up, one of the coalition or one of the navies that has presence in the Gulf of Aden now is China. Did you have any interaction with the Chinese Navy while you were on your deployment?
Yes, ma'am, we did. We had some limited interaction with the Chinese Navy, but for the most part, they were looking out for their interests in the area. But quite frankly, it was the same interest, and that was to reduce piracy in the area, maintain maritime freedom for the global transport of maritime goods.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, John Q. Adams with the Washington Post. Real quick, you talked about a 9-month sustained operation at sea.
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear anything about any comfort for the crew. Was there any port visits, any time off? What did you give them to have a little downtime during that time?
We did have multiple port visits during the deployment. We had a port visit to Livorno, Italy, port visits in Oman, Bahrain, Jebel Ali, and also Malta. So there were some port visit opportunities there. We did take advantage of some of the downtime in order to have things like Still Beach picnics, things like that, in order to kind of give us a little downtime from the operations. And also, we did things like, in order to help with our family members back home, we did our United Through Reading program, and we did 120 of those during deployment to basically videotape our sailors reading books to their children, and then we sent them back to their families. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mark Butler from the Navy Times. How many sexual assaults did you have during this 9 months?
We had 0 sexual assaults during this 9-month deployment.
So would you attribute that to not being reported to the national average, which usually about 10% of females are assaulted every year?
Well, I can't speak to any unreported sexual assaults, but I would attribute part of this to the preparation for deployment. We consider our principal responsibilities of warfighting first, operate forward, and be ready. Operate forward is about being out there and being ready to operate, so preparing for deployment and getting the families in line and getting our sailors all prepared. I think that when you really put those preparations together, it does mitigate some of those other behaviors that could take place.